Hello everyone. Thanks. So I'm gonna add a couple more of the Fujifilm photos, and then I will get started with this one. This one was the Fujifilm 56mm f1.2. Hey everyone, thanks. Happy Sunday. Thanks for joining. How's the video quality? Yeah, I use Lightroom also, but recently I'm editing some of my old Fujifilm pictures. I use the JPEG for Fujifilm before. Later I'm gonna shoot more Fujifilm X-T2 with the RAW plus JPEG as well. So if you search my handle Caliallstaring and then with the Lightroom keyword in YouTube, I have some videos on the Lightroom also. So great transition. Hey, thanks. So let's get started with this one. This one with the Bula Baby at Bula Baby. So we were shooting in the Roseville. So I found some picture that I haven't edited before, just to show you how did I edit all this picture with the tone. So this was the classic chrome from the Fujifilm X-T2, and then we were in front of a big old truck. So and then with the sunset behind the truck also, so it's nice to have some light behind the truck as well from the window. So thanks people for joining. I have been watching your photo shoots for so long. I bought an X-T2 50. Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, 56mm f1.2 is my first lens for the Fujifilm. When I bought the Fujifilm X-T1, I think it's about 6 years ago. So these two, I can use this U3 or HP2, these two similar filters, but the HP2 has a higher contrast, and then the U3 right now is the new VSCO X filter that you can use. So what I'm gonna do is do some usual stuff, increase the highlight, sharpening a little bit, and then reduce the a little bit of the exposure so that the mood is better for that exposure. So let me check. Okay, the streaming speed is okay, so I am just verifying the streaming speed, and then increase slightly more. So if you want to leave it like that, it's fine. The composition is fine. What I'm gonna do is I usually do a 4:5 crop for Instagram, and then you can leave. That's why I'm leaving a little bit of the top of the window right there, and then just not cropping all the window. You can do it like that, or if you don't want the edge of the window, you can crop it closer like this. And let me go back to the 4:5 crop. So when I was beginning my photography, I did this cropping practice a lot. These are just personal preference, but cropping and recropping helps my understanding of the composition also. It's kind of like a practice after you finish the photo shoots, and then sometimes you can readjust the composition after the edit. It's nice practice for as me when I was a beginner also. X-T10 2.0 of a sensor. Is the X-T10 the same sensor as X-T2 or just X-T1? So I would like the X-T2 sensor. Yeah, so X-T2 sensor, whichever, I think it's X-T20 or something. I like the X-T2 sensor. I want a macro close-up lens macro for X-T2. Yeah, is that a macro? There was a macro 80mm f2. Was it f2? f2.8. Yeah, I shot that. I have one video on that for portraits also, but yeah. I want a lens for extreme close-ups such as full eye shots. Yeah, the 56mm is not intended for the very close-up, but you can search the 80mm also, so I will search that one later on. So let me continue this one, save this one, and then the next one, this one just straight out of the camera. It has a flare on the right hand side of the image. What I'm gonna do, I have couple approach for this. I'm gonna use the E5 on this one, and then increase the contrast, slightly increase a little bit of the exposure, and then adjust the cropping. If you are able to not crop in the skirt, it's fine. If you crop a little bit, that's fine too. So just make sure the left and right has enough room for the feet composing also. So I'm increasing the sharpness a little bit. You can see that as you increase the contrast, the blur, the face has a little bit more light. That was part of because the exposure and the contrast as well. So those two combined, you can see the before and after if you brighten up the face already, so you don't need the brush. If you do it in the Lightroom, you can do a brush also, so for the front lighting. Yeah, so what I did is it was just increase 0.5 right there. So another question, I have a 35mm F1.4, but X Pro 1 needs an update. Yeah, 35mm F1.4, it was out 8 years ago, right? So it's still pretty good. I have a shot later on. I shot with the 35mm f1.4. If you are used to the X Pro series and then the rangefinder, you can try the X Pro 2 or something, because it has the same sensor as the X-T2. That's good for still as well. So let me copy this edit and then paste it to the next one. Right out of the back is too bright. You can see that it is too bright. I'm gonna reduce the exposure because each image has a different lighting, so sometimes you cannot apply to here. So this one I can even use the U3 for this one, and then increase the sharpness a little bit. So this one I had to squat down to the street level so that my camera is around on the hip level. I have to squat down my body so that it has a lower light, using her body to block the sun ray directly. And what lens did you use for these shots? I use a 56mm f1.2 for these shots. Hey everyone. So this shot is still 56mm f1.2 for full body shots. So I have to squat down to my hip level. I think I position the camera around my knee level, so about 2 or 3 feet above the ground level. So it's pretty low angle, but I have to step back maybe around 9 feet or 10 feet away to get the full body. So these kind of shots I have to have a little bit more room to frame the whole portrait, but especially in the sunset hours, you can use the model's body to block the sunlight directly, and then the 56mm f1.2 has enough light in the front to make it bright enough already, so you don't need extra reflector or stuff. I like to use just the natural lighting right there. So it seems like, let me reopen the, it was hanging there. Let me copy this one, and then this one also the 56mm f1.2. so it's too dark for me, this one. So each one has a different lighting, because a different exposure setting for each one. So but I'm gonna do is crop in a little bit like that, and that was the half an hour before the sunset, so the sunlight is already golden. Yes, I shoot wide open only, so I'm waiting for another RF lenses and R5 review. Yes, right now I haven't rented the R5 yet because the lens rentals.com, as I talked about it last week in the live stream, is still not available yet. I will wait for a couple more weeks until I can borrow an R5 and the 80mm RF lens, 85mm, the cheaper one. I can test that out also. So it's a bit slow, 60mm a bit slow, counting the low light, quite annoying. It's a macro lens. Okay, 60mm f2.8. I haven't tried that one yet, but I tried the 80mm macro lens. It was pretty sharp already. So let me save this one. So this is the cropping right there. I'm just gonna do it, copy these two and then paste it to the next. And right out of the bat, you can see that it is too bright. Not every picture's setting is suitable for each one. So I'm gonna reduce the exposure, -1 on this one. Let me increase the highlight safe. Highlight safe, the advantage of highlight safe is don't get too blown out on the highlight, the brighter blown out area. Okay, so that's the 56mm bokeh also in the back. So this bokeh is handled by the 56mm f1.2 wide open. So all the shots I shot are wide open also, and it's pretty sharp already. And I think the compared to the sharpness of the full frame is reduced a little bit, but it's because the Fuji has a retro tone as well, so you don't have to be the sharpest of all, and you don't need to get the sharpest if you shoot in the Fuji tone, because it has an advantage and disadvantage right there. But overall, it's sharp enough for me to post on the Instagram. It's pretty good. I like the bokeh also, so you can see the before and after. I can just adjust the highlight safe. Let me check. Okay, so this one is around 0 exposure setting. So after this one is also about 2 hours before sunset. You can see the sunlight is not as golden as the previous one because it was earlier in the time. You can see that it's blown out a lot in this. What I'm gonna do is reduce the exposure and the highlight safe also. So, and then increase the contrast a little bit. And it got blown out. And this was my previous when I shot JPEG only, and I adjust the exposure compensation dial on the fly also. So if you shoot JPEG or if you shoot the RAW, you have more advantage to change the exposure later on. So for example, this one, the exposure was good. It didn't blow out a lot. So in this case, I can use this different setting. The H2 made the black darker, and it create a contrast, a nice light contrast with the t-shirt also. So I'm gonna reduce the exposure a little bit so that it is has some clarity on the face also, because if it's too bright, it's not good. So this is how I adjust this one. Great shot. I love this one. Thanks so much. So that's the before and after. That's a little bit of the, let me reduce the highlight safe. Okay, cool. And then the next one is similar sitting position. I'm gonna paste the edit here and reduce the highlight safe a little bit. Okay, so that's good. And too much room on the right side. Also, I'm gonna crop the room on this side. That's why I was saying is a preference of the cropping, and you can do different crop as a practice to recompose your photo when you are free, like editing the photo. Is a good practice because you can think of 3 different methods to crop single picture, and it has a different way of expression as well. So this one, let me use in U3 just for variety. Let me increase the contrast, increase the sharpness, and then reduce the highlight save in this one. So exposure wise, you can change based on what you want. Do you want a very bright or moody? It depends on what your feel was. And this is kind of like tricky because when you crop like this, I think this is one of the crop without cropping the fingers. Usually I leave the finger alone, but sometimes if you don't have enough headroom that you have to crop, but don't crop on the joint, just slightly up a little bit, so that's fine to me too. Just not on the joint area. That's one of the book that I read. It was not recommended on the joint area when you crop in on the photos. Okay, so let me edit this one, and now I show you how we can patch the stuff. You can see that there's a stripe right here. I was gonna use I'm gonna do the removal after I did this, after I finished this one. Just a moment, let me just do a quick edit, increase the contrast, highlight, save, adjust this one. So after I finish, I'm gonna so because it's a little bit distracted for that light right there. So what I'm gonna do is let me save it to my camera roll first. So I have an app called Facetune 2. As maybe if you joined it on the previous one, you can see this, and then I'm gonna use patch function. So I'm gonna do the patching just the same as Lightroom. So it's you can see that it's not just like that, and then save it. Okay, so that's gone, and then it's nice and clean. It's better. So that's a quick way to patch. A quick way to patch the small distraction on the wall. So, and then sometimes yeah. And this one is it was 16mm f1.6. Sorry, f1.4. So this you can see the long leg. It was stretched by the lens. So I'm gonna use the U3. It has nice sunny vibes, and then reduce the exposure, and then the tone, highlight, save a little bit, increase the sharpness a little bit, and then adjust the 4:5 crop. You can see that I don't want that small distraction on the left frame, and then slightly close up on that. Hi, big pictures. I'm Brazil, so thanks for support from Brazil. Thanks everyone supporting from different part of the globe. So I'm editing this one. This one is a Fujifilm 16mm f1.4. It's nice for editorial style. If you want to shoot editorial style, long leg 16mm f1.4. So if you want to shoot stretch long leg like the fashion magazine, just use 16mm f1.4. That's a nice lens for the long leg effect. So you can see that it stretch out the leg. If you position the portrait slightly to the lower frame of the picture, it will stretch the leg as the some of you have seen in the magazine style. So those are like, for example, if you want to shoot in the New York street style, you can just stretch the leg, position the camera lower to the angle that you can do that. So after I finish, I'm gonna modify because there's a dot right there, it's kind of distracting, and then there's a dot right there, kind of distracting. Hey everyone, thanks for new people joining. I'm gonna edit it that also. So let me save this one, and then I'm gonna edit the patching right there. So what I'm gonna do, I do the patch function, and then I just touch the part that I want to patch, like this. Okay, so that's the patching process, and then I'm gonna patch this small dot. It's kind of like annoying to me, so I'm gonna patch this one also. So this is how you patch on the mobile phone, just like the Lightroom style. You can do the same thing on the skin if you want to retouch the skin also. So that's it. After the change, I'm gonna do the next one. I think this shot is another shot, but this one was 35mm f1.4, I think. So let me update the tone. If it's not, it's the kit lens, because in that place I have two lenses I shot on this location, the pink wall. But I'm sure the other one was because you can see the bokeh characteristic. I think it's the kit lens because I was shooting some video on the kit lens, and then I wanted to shoot a couple shots on it as well. So this one was the 16 to 55 kit lens, I think. Yeah, it's it has the stabilization for the video. So I was shooting some video footage at that time. So let me update this one, and this one coming back, the long leg style. And the long leg style, it was I was using the 16mm f1.4 again, because if you find any like nice walls stuff, it's good to have long leg style to have the environment context. You can see that my shadow, I was squatting down to the ground level in order to get the long leg effect. To position the portrait, the legs are closer to the lower frame of the picture. Then if you stretch out the leg for the 16mm f1.4, so what I'm gonna do is I reduce the exposure because the sunlight has enough lighting right there, and then the highlight save slightly. I was trying to use the palm tree to frame the portrait as well. So what I'm gonna do is slightly crop the shadow because it's a little bit distracting in the bottom. So I'm gonna edit like this. You can save this one first, and then we can crop another one closer to the frame. So you can do another one like 1/3 on the third area like this. So using the wall as a leading line to the portrait also. So and then if you let me see how it looks if I crop it right to the center. So you can just practice the composition on the fly in the post editing. So when you're on scene doing live photo shoots, you know that you have different options for the cropping. So that's why when I was beginning my photography, I was using the recrop a lot just to learn different kind of cropping. You can do 1/3 or half and half. So it's just a different style, and then you can practice your own cropping style, whichever one you like the most. Okay, so that's good. And then the next one, these couple ones are from the 16mm f1.4 close-up portrait half body. Make sure the head area is around the center. You can see the position to the center, so that the head, it has less distortion for the 16mm f1.4, because for the leg, if the leg position to the lower frame is fine, it will stretch out, but if the head on the edge, it will become distorted, big nose, big eyes, kind of like that. So it's better to, when you shoot the wide lens, it's better to have a what is called, position the head in the center, so the head has a less distortion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm doing the HV2 filter, reduce the highlight save, sharpen it a lot, and then reduce the exposure a little bit. And if I'm doing the 4:5 crop like this, that's good, and then save it. I want to leave some context on the top also, so let me save this one. Okay, so the next one, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna use the chromatic C9, kind of like very retro style. Like C9 has a very chrome style, because the green tone in the back matches the C9, the green tone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna using the C9 for this one. Let me double check the cropping here. So this one was a 16mm f1.4 also. You can see that it's not blur out a lot in the back, but it has a context of where you are. If you want to stand out your city landscape, don't recommend the 16 f2.8. I like the 1.4. I haven't shot the 2.8, but I like the 1.4. It has more flexibility of the bokeh in the back also, because if you do a half body right here, you can see that it still have nice amount of the blur in the back. But 2.8, I don't think it has this amount of the blur also. So it's more flexible lens for different situation, and if you shoot in the dark at night, it has more capability shooting at night as well. So that's why I chose the f1.4 16mm. So let me save this one, and then I'm gonna copy the similar pose, the edit style on this one, and then increase the contrast a little bit, sharpening out a little bit more. You can leave it as a full body. If I'm gonna do the adjustment 4:5, so that's it, 4:5 crop. I want to add more theater context on top as well. So next two photos are the 35mm f1.4. So these two are 35mm f1.4. You can see the similar smoothness, but the background is not as blur out as the 56mm f1.2. So I'm gonna use a U3, and there are some light coming stripes from the fence. So when I asked Bula Baby to get it closer, I'm trying to match the light to each of her eyes, so align with the eyes, kind of like create some kind of effect on like striping on the face also. So usually when I'm walking around to see where are the lights coming from, and then ask the model to just to pose close to the light source, sometimes it creates some different nice effects. It doesn't hurt to just to try it, and then if you try it doesn't work, and then you can just try a different background. So that's how my philosophy, just go try it out, and then if it doesn't work, that's fine. We shot some different shots in the different backgrounds. So I'm gonna position the cropping slightly up a little bit, like that, and then save it. So you can see that it looks like that in the square. So next one, so this is the last one, the 35mm f1.4. I'm gonna edit the one that I added yesterday on the 35mm f1.4 also. So this is the highlight save, and then slightly increase the highlight save a little bit more, sharpen it more, and then 4:5 crop right here. So that's good, and then save it. Okay, so that's good, and then I'm gonna do a couple shots that I did yesterday. I added this pose. This is 35mm f1.4. So let me remove clear all. So this is the original tone, and then I'm gonna edit just to show you how I got that tone. You can use the U3 or HB2. I think I was using U3. Just slightly, a little bit of the blue in the back, and then I'm gonna reduce the blue. Hey, thanks everyone for following. I haven't posted a lot on the VSCO, but yeah, that's my VSCO, the same name of my Instagram handle. So let me update these. So the reason I chose this background because she has the bandana on the neck. It matches the red color. And the other photo I had, it was she had the Coca-Cola style also, so it's kind of the Coca-Cola advertisement style. So let me show you the editing, and then I clear all. So let me do an edit. So this one, it was very low in the angle. The main interesting part is in the lower portion, and that's the reason why I chose the square. It just I don't need the building on the top anymore, because all I care about is this lower portion of the picture. So I think the square suited. And when the eyes are looking toward this side, you can position 2/3 of the width on this side, and then 1/3 of the width on this side. That's basic the composition philosophy right there. If the eyes are looking to a certain direction, you can keep more room on certain sides based on where the eyes are gazing, where the direction are gazing. So let me increase a little bit more of the headroom. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, so that's how I edit all these existing photos. I'm gonna do another one later on next week. X100V and then the X100 XL for portrait shoots. I think I have some old X100F videos, but I haven't shot a lot. I have X100F before. Let me check if I still have the X100F video, because that was a long time ago. Yeah, I haven't posted any X100X photo. So sorry, the video review. I have the old X100F. The X100F, the lens, I think they improved in X100V for the 23mm f2. I didn't use a lot for portrait, but I shot some 23mm f2 for portraits also. The X100F at wide open in close distance for portraits, it's very soft also, so just keep in mind that lens, if it's X100F, but X100V, I saw some review, they improved a lot already. so it's much sharper than the first generation. So yeah, so based on that, that's all I have for today. Yeah, I think I edited about 20 photos today. And yeah, thanks so much for joining. This I will do it once a week. I try to see if where Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, either one. I will do some scheduling a couple days before that. I will set the tentative date also, just in case I might have photo shoot Saturday, next Saturday, so I might do it Sunday afternoon just in case. So I might set the tentative date on Sunday. So for yeah, save money and get used X-T2 or buy X-T3. I will choose the used X-T2 because of the sunset tone, just like this one. Yeah, I will choose X-T2, just buy a used one also. If you don't shoot a lot of video, you don't need the X-T3, so X-T2 is good enough, and I use a single point focus is good enough for me also. These are all using the single point AF, also AF-S. So, and then yeah, thanks so much for joining. Yeah, bye.